Hey you, hope you're well. So a follow-up to my last video called Holy Shit, I'm a Lightworker, and an update on the gifts that I promised you I'd talk about in that video. This time on exploring spirituality. So this video is a follow-up to my last video where I realized that I am a Lightworker and I had some gifts coming through. And I promised to share those with you, and I will. But more importantly is the work that I've been doing with my energy since then. And most of my new understanding is coming from Christina Lopes and her video called 5 Unbeatable Energy Clearing Practices, which I will link to below. But not all of it. Some of it has been my own instinctive understanding about how to work with the energy in my body. But I've just kind of kicked it up a notch and really made it a daily practice, sometimes even several times a day. So let's get into this. This is the energy work that I've learned about and want to share with you in case it helps you in some way. So first, I learned about identifying my own energy. And it happened kind of accidentally. So after that video was published, my husband and I went to downtown Denver, where we lived, to kind of just hang out and spend some time outdoors. And we were walking down the street, and there were 2 gentlemen that walked by, and I immediately felt awful. Like low vibe, nasty, mean energy. That's totally a judgment. I get it. It was just really heavy, dense, low vibrational energy. It was awful. And I remembered what Christina Lopes said. Is this my energy or is this someone else's energy? Was the first thing that came to my mind. So we were walking down the street in a downtown in an urban setting. So I paused. I paused for a minute under a tree and I just said, is this my energy or is it someone else's? And I just got very still for that, just a split second. And after I asked that question, the energy fell away, like literally fell away. I felt it falling. And I knew that was not my energy. That was their energy, those 2 dudes that walked by, not my energy. And I learned in that moment that A, I'm capable of absorbing other people's energy. B, I am also capable of clearing other people's energy. Big lesson. So identifying my own energy was probably step number 1. Step number 2 not probably. Step number 2 for me was clearing the energy, much like I did just by, taking a moment to be still and ask that question, is this my energy or is this someone else's? It cleared it. Excuse me. I can also clear it just anytime, anyway. And some of the techniques I've learned from Christina Lopes, and some of them were my own. I'll link to her video below so that you can look at all the techniques. She's got some great information in there. So if energy clearing or energy work is your thing, check it out. For me though, and she brings this up in her video, she's just clearing the intention. Having the pure intention of clearing the energy will clear it. And so that's not now my everyday practice. And because this is all very new to me, I actually clear my energy multiple times in the day. Whenever it gets dense or heavy, or whenever I have this kind of low vibrational thoughts, sadness, fear, any type of those thoughts that aren't, or feelings that aren't serving me, whenever there's that energy around, I can clear it. And it is really as simple as I get still. I could be standing, I could be sitting, it doesn't matter. I just get very still and I focus on the energy and I say, clear. Clear this energy, clear this energy. And sometimes I'll do this motion, clear the energy, clear the energy. And honestly, it's usually like one intention and one, maybe a few times, and it's cleared. And then I can feel it, and I can actually feel that energy shift in my body. And it'll be clear, and I'm free of it. So that's the second thing that I learned, was all about energy clearing. There are other ways to clear energy. One that I used for a long time instinctively was moving my body. And I've talked about this a lot for shifting energy. Go out and move your body. Go for a walk. Go for a hike. Just yoga. Move your body. That really works for me. I'm an Aries sun, and so Aries suns are very attached to their body. And so moving my body is a great energy kind of transmuter. It will take the energy that's kind of low and dense and sitting in there, sitting in my body, not doing me any good, and it will actually get it moving. And energy moves, energy's got to flow. So anytime you find yourself kind of low, just consider doing some of these energy clearing practices. The third energy clearing lesson I learned is to ask for clearing. And I have only used this once, and it was last night. Last night, heaviest energy came over me, and I started to kind of get in my head and worry about things and have these low vibrational thoughts of, oh my goodness, everything's terrible. So it was bad. And so I went to my social media and I looked around, and other people were mentioning it as well. It was just a heavy, dense energy kind of a night. And I sat down and I kind of isolated myself in my office and started to journal and kind of try and figure out what's going on. And I did clearing practices, and that still didn't work. So for the first time, I asked the my spirit team, universe, God, source, spirit, angels, ancestors. I kind of lump them all together and I call them my spirit team. And I asked them to, again, I got really still. I sat down and I'm close. This is the vibe of it. I got really still. I went inward and I asked, spirit team, will you please clear this energy and transmute it into something more beautiful? I just sat with it and was really quiet for a short while, and it started to lift. My energy started to lift. I wouldn't recommend calling on your spirit team every time you want, excuse me, every time you want your energy cleared. I don't know. I just feel like we should be a little more self-sufficient than that. But it was when we try all of our energy clearing practices and nothing has worked, I think that's time when we ask our spirit team to help us out. So those were the energy clearing practices that I learned. So I identified my own energy. I learned how to clear it using those 3 methods. I used intention and body movement, and then asking my spirit team to clear it. Whew. And that's what I've been working on since that last video, is just working on my energy, getting more comfortable with it, identifying my own energy better or more clearly, and then really just being in my own energy. And I have to say, since I've been doing that daily clearing or regular clearing, I do feel better. I feel lighter. I feel more like me in my own energy and not bombarded by everybody else's energy. So try it out. I promised to tell you about my gifts that were coming through last week, or with that last video, and it's time. It's time. Gosh, my energy starts really effervescent. My energy becomes effervescent when I talk about this. So I'm just going to take a few deep breaths. kind of settle my energy down again. Maybe that's another energy transmuting thing. It's just taking a breath. So, what happened to me last week, the gifts that I was seeing coming through was I channeled 3 messages last week, and I've never channeled before. And it took me, I'm glad it was a few messages because it took me a little while to kind of understand what was happening to me. So let me explain how it started. And I've got my journal here open so that I can read from it because I want to read you the messages because I'm pretty sure the messages aren't just meant for me. I think the messages are meant to be shared with the collective. Anyway, decide for yourself. So let me set the stage. It was night. I think it was last Thursday night. I can check because I date my journal. It was October 27th. And unlike me, I sat and watched a television program, and I rarely watch television nowadays, so it was just kind of odd. Anyway, it was a Nova on PBS, and it was about the universe and stars. I think it was the episode was called Age of Stars, and it was fascinating about how the stars are formed and how they grow and evolve and create life and how they will eventually die out. It was fascinating. It was beautiful visually and fascinating to learn about something that I love dearly, which is the universe. So um, it was fascinating. It was very inspiring. Then, the program ended and we start going about our night. And then there was another program on that I got really sucked into. And I don't know the name of it. And I'm sorry. If I can figure it out, I will link it below. But it was about, again, it was PBS, and it was about women's role in society 29,000 years ago. And it was inspiring. Women I think there were clear gender roles even then, but they also have found that there were some of the women had been warriors, or at least had been the hunters, and they could see in skeletons how there were, throwing actions. And anyway, they not only hunted, they gathered, they cared for the children. It was an amazing show. And it was very inspiring to, especially right now in the time that we're living in, to be reminded of how powerful and capable women are. It was an extraordinary program. So I was seeing after that show, I started seeing just tons and tons of synchronicities, and like every number that was coming up was a synchronicity. And so I decided to do my thing and come into my office, settle down with my journal, and just start journaling. And I was sitting right here at my desk with my journal, and I'm just journaling away, and I start writing. My ancestors are calling me from 29,000 years ago, they say. And then the message continues. We, and I got the image of all women, we, all women, are strong, capable, talented, creative, resourceful. Women are the best of creatures, capable of so much, wise and loving. And then in my journal it goes on to say, I shook. My body shook and I came out of the energy that message came from. I channeled that message. And now that I'm saying about it right now, I'm thinking that maybe this was claircognizance. And I did a series of videos about working on claircognizance, but in this moment, in that moment, I knew I was channeling. I knew it. So I'm wondering if my claircognizance work has been helping. Anyway, so then the next section in my journal is actually planning out my next video. And then I say, wow, I'm buzzing with energy and creativity. And then more messages. I have two messages that one says, instead of seeking our purpose, we move in the direction of our joy. I love that message. I really believe that too. And then the next one says, we create flow using our intuition, body awareness, and emotional intelligence. And I love that. So before I discuss the significance of that message, my journal says, I'm shaking out of the energy. I think I was channeling the two messages above. I would like to better know or understand the feelings when the channeling begins. Maybe encourage the connection. And then I talk about the synchronicities because, again, I was seeing so many synchronicities. I should have known something was up. So I talk about, I found myself stroking the paper of my journal, palm down flat, in small circular motions. I will continue to work with this energy. So that was like my entry into the channeling. I was stroking the paper. So the two messages that I channeled that time, instead of seeking our purpose, we move in the direction of our joy, and we create flow using our intuition, body awareness, and emotional intelligence. Excuse me. Pause. So those are beliefs of mine. Back when I was a coach, before my cancer, I was coaching, and I used to coach to flow. Flow is very important to me. I believe that we can generate flow and live in a more flowing state of being. So those were really impactful to me, and to channel those messages was beautiful and so much fun, but it wasn't the end. So I channeled one more message that night. And in my journal, it says, I keep thinking about bravery and vulnerability. So those were going on in my mind, enough so that I journaled it. And then I write, the channeling begins at this point, and I write, the bravery and vulnerability is the energy of our ancestors. They are showing us again to help us heal and grow from this old, outdated energy. And then it pauses and I write, my breath quickens, my focus changes, opens to the energy, and then the words come through me. And that was my experience with journaling, with channeling and journaling. I'm so glad I journaled it, because if I didn't journal it, so much of about it was touching the paper. I'm not sure if I would have channeled anything if I weren't journaling. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I tracked it. I'm so glad I paid attention to the signs, because now I can work with those energies. I can feel that vibration and put my hand on the paper and be open to that energy. Everything that I wrote about that night, I can practice again. And I have tried. I have tried to journal since, and I haven't journaled, or I keep switching those words. Is Mercury still in shadow? Anyway, I have tried to channel since, and I will try to channel again, but I have not received any channeled messages since. I've been focused on the energy work because it's going to be the energy work that'll get me there, I think. I mean, at least with the energy work, I'm practicing proper energy hygiene, as Christina Loeb says, and I am just making sure my energy is clear. And when my energy is clear, when it's really my own energy and not everybody else's energy, I think I'll be more open to receive channeling. So I don't know if this is my gift. I can't repeat it, but it definitely feels like a gift. And maybe it was meant to be that one evening, and maybe it was just meant to be these few messages. I don't know. I'll journal. I will continue to be self-aware and track the changes within me and track how my energy work is going through my journal. And if I get any more developments, you will be the first to know. I will absolutely share it with you. This has been interesting and fun for me, although it is so not how I pictured this channel going. I really thought that we'd just be talking about all these different aspects of spirituality. I had no idea that I would be experiencing them on the way. So I am so grateful that you are here on this journey with me. So grateful. In each one of my videos, I highlight a light worker who I've worked with or who's inspired me. And again, just like in the last video, I'm highlighting Christina Lopes because it's really her work and her videos that are helping me kind of figure this out and figure out how to do energy work and learn how to take care of my energy body the best way I can and add it to my regular self-care routine. And anyway, she just inspires me to know. And so I will leave links to the video that I mentioned below, that what was it? The 5 unbeatable energy clearing practices. I'll leave link to that below. And again, I am grateful to you for being here. I am grateful for your energy. I am grateful for you sharing your precious, precious time with me and connecting with our energy. I am so grateful that you're here and supporting the channel. I am just so grateful to you. So I hope this helps you. I hope this helps you work with your energy or identify it or bring some self-awareness to your energy body. And who knows, maybe even these channeled messages helped. And maybe that's what I meant to share. Maybe my spirit team is just waiting for me to share the channeled messages that they gave me before something else happened. I don't know. I think they're beautiful messages. Thank you again for being here. And until the next time on Exploring Spirituality, I love you. Be well.